This week's topic is family planning, and being trans, whether you're male or female, there's a lot of things we have to do to prepare before we can even transition. But we don't always think about the possibility of being sterile when we transition and not being able to carry on our genes. And that is one of the negatives to transitioning. In my case, before I transitioned, I knew that if I ever wanted kids, like right now I don't really want them, but I always said to myself, well, let's say that I wanted kids when I'm like 30 plus something years old. There would be a good chance that I wouldn't be able to give my partner my genes, because being on testosterone, there's a couple things. One, it can negatively affect your genes, and when I say genes, I'm referring to eggs, and I just hate saying that. I hate being reminded of that, so I'm saying genes. So negatively affect them. The second thing is, when you've been on testosterone for what they estimate of about 5 years, they tell you that you should get a hysterectomy, because you could end up having serious side effects. I don't know if it's the development of cysts or cancers or what it is specifically. I have it in my notes somewhere. But it's encouraged that you get a hysterectomy after 5 years. So you may not even be able to have kids, just based on the fact that you had to get a hysterectomy. So it's hard, because it's almost like you have to plan for. Unless you're already at that age where you're older and you are financially independent and you have the money to be able to, let's say you wanted to freeze your genes, you could do that. It costs thousands and thousands of dollars, and I believe that you have to pay yearly on it, but it's a possibility that in the future, you have to plan ahead, and you might be able to do that because you can afford it. If you're in my position, or if you started transitioning really young, you almost have to either have the money already and know that just in case you can go ahead and set it aside, or act like you can protect the future. So I guess judging what the odds are for you wanting to have your own kids, and if you by chance meet someone, that's the other thing too, maybe you might be single by that time, or you might be with someone at that time. So it's this really daunting idea, and it's a very probable, and I think that when people get to a certain age, you really do start thinking about family and having kids, and it's hard. When I think of myself, not being able to impregnate a female, it is a reminder of the ways that I feel inadequate, and the ways that I feel like I have some shortcomings, in a sense. First of all, it's a reminder that I don't have a penis. It's a reminder that I can't impregnate anyone. It's a reminder that I can't produce sperm. It really is like the all-time low, I think, for dysphoria. And then, if you are in the position where you have a partner and you guys want to have kids, that's even more frustrating. I think it's frustrating for a lot of people in the LGBT community, gays, lesbians, trans, just because, and bisexuals, if you're with, the same-sex partner. But I think it really does go for an all-time low being trans, because it's not only like a shortcoming in the sense that we can't give our genes, but it's also it's a reminder of our physical of our physical presence. So I don't know, it's hard. So I guess as far as myself, I never wanted to physically have kids. I knew from a time that I was like 4 or 5 years old that I knew, you know, where babies came from and how that whole thing went down. I knew that there was no way in hell I was ever going to physically carry a child. It wasn't for me. I know that there are some trans people out there that they can do that, but for me, it creates a big dysphoria because I associate being pregnant and carrying a child with a very strong female characteristic. For other people, it's be done with it and just disassociate the two, but I can't do that. And then I'm sure many of you have heard of the pregnant man, the first pregnant man. You know, he carried the kids because his partner couldn't, and so that was a huge sacrifice, but he did it because, you know, they both really wanted kids. And for me, I'm not entirely sure of the details on how to even make that happen. I don't know how long that guy was on testosterone. What I do know, though, is that he obviously didn't have a hysterectomy. But the other thing, too, is I believe you have to stop testosterone before you can even consider carrying the child. And then I'm not entirely sure, but you might have to take estrogen or some kind of hormone or something, which I think I know a lot of pregnant women take vitamins and, like, you know, prenatal and all that stuff. So that's kind of the other thing. Like, it's a lot of sacrificing. The other alternative, if you don't want to go that route, would be to freeze your genes, and you can do that. And like I said, it's very expensive, but it's a possibility. And I believe, you know, for long term, and you guys both really want kids, you guys might be able to share in that financial responsibility and make that happen. And hell, you know, I think it's a fantastic idea. Not tangible for everyone, but a great idea. So that's, I guess, where my understanding of family planning comes into play. You know, I don't know. I would love to be able to say, like, yes, you know, those are my genes, only because I'm American Indian and I don't think there's too many of us left, so I would just like to carry that out. But for any other reasons specific, I don't really have one. I don't have, like, this desire to be like, yes, I need to have my own children. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to adopt in, like, I don't know, 10 years or something crazy, then I guess, you know, I was adopted. You know, there's, in Orange County alone, there's like some 10,000 orphans. You know what I mean? Like, that's just in the city that I live in. So I don't know, I feel like that's a whole nother topic, though, you guys. Like, adoption is seriously underrated, and there's a lot of negativity around it, but I think it's a great option. Yeah, that's part of the one of the side, you know, the downsides, you know, when you transition. But for most of us, you know, it's worth it and it's necessary, and, you know, it outweighs the bad. So it's not like we can't never have kids, you know. Just the way in which we get to that point is going to be a little different. So next time, guys,